Why do women on screen face harsher judgment than men who often do far worse? Today, we're talking about the double standards in storytelling that shape how audiences respond to female characters and why so many viewers hold them to impossible expectations. Think about the most legendary villains of our time: Voldemort, Hannibal Lecter, Darth Vader, Walter White, Thanos, the Joker, Kylo Ren. Most of them are men. And here's the thing: we've given these men entire franchises to explain themselves. We watch their origin stories. We understand their trauma. We see the moments that broke them and made them who they are. You're invited to understand them, even when they do terrible things. Women can be just as complicated, corrupt, and morally complex as men. The difference is, we rarely let them be. When female villains exist, they're usually given maybe one motivation: jealousy, vanity, cruelty. And that's it. No backstory, no layered complexity, no redemption arc, just she's bad. Take Umbridge from Harry Potter versus Voldemort. Voldemort gets an entire backstory explaining his magical origins and his fear of death. Umbridge's villainy? She likes order. That's not a justification. That's a personality trait. The show doesn't bother explaining why she is the way she is. Bellatrix Lestrange gets even less evil because she prizes cruelty and loyalty to Voldemort. That's all we're given. Meanwhile, male villains in the same franchise get entire character arcs and moral complexity. Sharpay Evans had been in the drama department for years. She showed up, she worked, she was talented. Then Troy Bolton, a basketball player with zero musical theater experience, walked in and immediately got cast in the role she'd been preparing for. Gabriella, the new girl, also got cast despite an audition that was objectively less impressive than Bop to the Top. Sharpay didn't sabotage them. She just wanted what she'd earned. And for that, the entire film treats her like a villain. But here's what kills me. We celebrate male ambition all the time. We root for Han Solo even though he's selfish. We love Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries, a literal vampire who murdered people, because he's funny and charismatic. Jack Sparrow does whatever he wants and gets celebrated as a fun villain and eventual hero. These men get to be witty and charming while pursuing their goals. They get to have personality. Sharpay has personality, fabulous hair, fabulous fashion, fabulous talent, and somehow that personality makes her the villain. If Sharpay were a man, we'd call him an ambitious go-getter. We'd root for him to get what he wants. Instead, we watch him get pushed aside and act like it's justice. Here's another pattern that keeps showing up. When a male villain and a female villain are introduced together as equals, the male villain always gets redeemed. Always. Look at Game of Thrones. Jaime and Cersei start as a pair of villains with the same goals. Jaime gets an entire redemption arc, however flawed. Cersei stays evil until the end. On the Umbrella Academy, Hazel and Cha-Cha are introduced as an equally matched villain couple. Hazel gets developed, humanized, given a love interest that makes us root for him. Cha-Cha just doesn't. On Teen Wolf, basically every male villain gets redeemed. Deucalion, Theo, Ethan, Aiden. The female villains, Jennifer Blake, Kate Argent, Malia's mom, written off with no real arc. And when female villains do get redemption arcs, they're absurdly short, or they're immediately undone. Avatar gave Zuko an entire season-spanning redemption arc. Mai and Ty Lee got 2 scenes. One, Tree Hill spent time on Rachel's redemption, only to bring her back in a later season as pure evil again, erasing everything that had been developed. It's like the show was saying, we'll let you be complex for a moment, but ultimately, you're still the villain. The message is clear. Male villains are allowed to grow. Female villains are allowed to suffer. Here's something else that happens constantly with male villains. Get saved by the love of a woman. Snape from Harry Potter turned good because he loved Lily. Kylo Ren turns back to the light because he loves Rey. The implication is that all these broken, dangerous men just need the right woman to fix them. Need her love to become better. Not because it's the right thing to do. Not because they've genuinely changed. Because a woman loves them. This is so dangerous. It tells us that women's love is a redemptive tool. It tells us that we're responsible for fixing men's behavior. And when it doesn't work, when the woman can't save the man, we blame her. It puts the power of his morality in her hands, not his own. Meanwhile, female characters rarely get that luxury. Miranda Priestley is successful, talented, powerful, and nobody suggests she needs a man to fix her or make her better. She's just vilified for being competent. Here's what I want you to notice. In The Parent Trap, Meredith Blake is painted as a villain for wanting to marry a successful, attractive man and not wanting to deal with the surprise of his undisclosed child. That's not villainy. That's reasonable. But the entire film is told through the perspective of 2 scheming children. So Meredith is the obstacle. She's the threat. She's the one who deserves to lose. When we tell stories from a man's perspective, women become symbols instead of people. They become obstacles or helpers. They don't get to be complex. The narrative lens decides their worth. What I want you to see is this. These These women weren't villains. They were ambitious, they had boundaries, they wanted agency. Amy Dunne wanted to be seen. Jenny Curran wanted autonomy. Sharpay wanted what she'd earned. Miranda wanted respect. Meredith wanted a life that didn't revolve around someone else's children. They're villainized for the exact behaviors we celebrate in men. And that's not storytelling, that's just bias. This is Ladies First, watching women in movies. Here, we empower women by reviewing and discussing films that highlight their stories, struggles, and achievements. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.